She'll smile. She'll say, "I'm fine." She'll laugh at your joke, lean in at dinner, even kiss you like nothing's missing. But deep down, something is missing. And she'll never tell you. Because the truth is, there are things women wish you would do, but they won't ask for them. Not because they're shy, not because they want to play games, but because what they're waiting for isn't a man who asks for permission. They're waiting for a man who understands without being told. A man who sees past the surface, reads between the lines, and hears the emotions hiding behind, "I'm fine." That's where stoicism comes in. Not as cold logic, not as a shield, but as a radar, the kind that can pick up the frequency women speak on, even when they're silent. Today, we're diving into 4 powerful things women want from you but will never say out loud. And if you master them, you'll not only stand out from 99% of men, you'll become unforgettable. Let's begin. 1. Undress her mind before you touch her skin. She'll never text you, "Hey, can we talk about Play-Doh tonight?" She won't lean over her wine glass and say, "I'm craving intellectual intimacy." But she wants it. She's starving for a man who sees depth as foreplay. And most men, they miss this entirely. They think attraction is built on abs, confidence, and cleverness. They flex the car, the watch, the gym routine, but none of that matters if you can't mentally engage her. Because the truth is, a woman's deepest trigger isn't physical. It's intellectual and emotional presence. Mental intimacy is the new seduction. A stoic man doesn't rush. He listens not to respond, but to uncover. He doesn't just hear her words, she studies the space between them. When she says, "I had a weird day," he doesn't react like every other guy and ask, "What happened?" He leans in and says, "Tell me, what made it weird?" Simple, clean, no fixing, no controlling, no interruptions. He becomes the safe container she's been waiting for. The temple, not the tour guide. Because here's something most men never realize. Every woman carries an emotional zip file. And the man who learns to unzip it slowly, careful, without judgment, without solving, and without running, that man gets access to a side of her most never even glimpse. She begins to feel something rare, something she won't find scrolling, something that makes her want to open up more. Stoic technique, emotional minimalism. Don't rush the conversation. Don't jump to conclusions. Let silence breathe. If she shares something raw, don't fill the gap with advice. Instead, say, "That makes sense. I would have felt the same." Or, "That's heavy. I'm glad you told me." And then pause. Let her energy settle. Because women are emotional processors. They live in constant loops of analysis and feeling. And when you prove that you're not afraid of the storm inside her, you become her calm, her sanctuary. You become the one man who doesn't try to skip to the reward. Because to you, the depth itself is the reward. One line that changes everything. Next time she shares something vulnerable, don't make it a casual convo. Make it sacred. Look her in the eye and say, "Thanks for trusting me with that." Then shut up. Let her feel it. That moment will anchor itself in her memory. Long after the night ends, she won't forget how safe she felt with you. That's what it means to undress her mind before even thinking about her body. And that's something most men will never understand. 2. Own the room, then disappear like a ghost. This one might surprise you, because we've all been taught that women love confidence, and they do. But what they crave is a different kind of power. Not loud, not boastful, presence. The kind of presence that makes someone stop mid-sentence and ask, "Who is that?" But here's the twist. They don't want you to cling to it. They want you to own the room and then let it go. The art of presence without performance. Most men walk into a room and start performing. They puff their chest, talk too loud, try to be alpha. But the Stoic man, he enters with stillness. He speaks with precision. He watches. He observes. He moves like he already knows every shadow in the room. And when he finally speaks, he says something so deliberate that people lean in to listen. Not because he's louder, but because his silence before it made everything else feel cheap. Strategic absence. The ultimate Stoic power move. Here's what women notice, but never say. They're intrigued by the man who doesn't flood the chat, who doesn't post selfies every day, who doesn't dump his trauma in the first hour. They notice the one who shares just enough, the one who disappears not to punish, but to preserve energy. This is the art of detachment, and it drives women wild. Because when you prove that you can own attention without needing it, you become unpredictable, unreadable, unshakable. You become the ghost with gravity. The paradox that creates desire. Let the others chase attention. Let them overshare, overpromise, and overcompensate. You chase detachment. You move like a man who could have anyone, but wants nothing he has to beg for. That paradox, that cool confidence without arrogance, is what makes her think about you when you're not around. And that, my friend, is where desire lives. So we talked about presence, the kind of presence that owns a room, then disappears like smoke. That wasn't about performance or ego, it was about detachment. But here's the next layer on, even more subtle, more rare, and infinitely more magnetic. She wants you to speak, but not with your mouth, with your presence. That's where 99% of men fail. They think connection comes from charm, punchlines, clever texts, and well-timed compliments. But the man who learns to make her feel deeply understood without even opening his mouth, he becomes the storm she never saw coming. You don't need words to touch her soul. Here's the Stoic magic. You don't need to touch her body to make her melt. You don't even need to speak to make her feel safe. You just need to be there fully, undistracted, unapologetic, undeniable. And when she speaks, don't interrupt. Don't plan your next witty reply. Don't fix. Instead, let her heartbeat guide the silence. Look into her eyes and hold it. Hold that eye contact like it's the last light in a fading memory. Hold it like you're engraving her moment into your bones. Because real women are emotional archaeologists. They're always digging, reading between the lines, listening to your energy more than your words. The power of energetic stillness. When she meets a man who can say nothing, yet make her feel more seen than anyone who ever tried to impress her, she falls. Silently, fully. It's not about saying the right thing. It's about carrying the right energy. The kind of energy that says, you're safe here. You're not being judged. And no, I don't need anything from you right now. That energy, that's rare. Because most men talk from a place of neediness. They want validation, approval, reaction. But the Stoic man speaks and lives from abundance. And sometimes, abundance says nothing at all. Stoic technique, say less, mean more. The Stoic doesn't speak to prove his worth. He breathes like he already knows it. And trust me, she feels that. She feels it like thunder behind a closed door. Like pressure in the air before a storm. So here's your next move. Next time you're with her, don't speak. Just sit. Let your silence wrap around her like velvet. No interruptions. No punchlines. No flirty jokes. Just you. Unshaken. unbothered, unfolding. And here's what happens next. She'll start to get nervous. She'll fidget, play with her hair, shift in her seat. Why? Because she's not used to this kind of attention, the kind that doesn't ask for anything back. Whisper what she's never heard before. Then, when the moment is right, when the silence has thickened and her walls are starting to fall, whisper one thing. I don't need you to say anything. I already understand. Boom. That moment, it'll brand itself into her memory like her favorite song. She won't understand how you did it. She'll just remember how she felt. Seen, held, known without a single word. 4. Make her chase what she can't name. Here's a truth most men will never understand. The most intoxicating man in a woman's life is not the one who says all the right things. Not the one who sends good morning texts and emojis. Not even the one who's handsome and successful. It's the one who makes her feel something that she can't quite define. Emotional suspense, emotional clarity. You want to stand out? Don't be the man who gives her all the answers. Be the man who makes her ask better questions. What is this? Why can't I stop thinking about him? Why does it feel different when he's near? That's what she'll be wondering. Because women don't fall for answers. They fall for questions. For tension, for emotional suspense, Stoic technique, the art of contrast. While most guys flood her with validation, calls, and affection, you remain a mystery. You become a locked journal with one missing page. Not cold, not distant, just unreadable. Be warm, then cool. Be present, then absent. Be generous, then silent. Let her feel the warmth of your fire. Then pull back just enough to let her miss it. This isn't manipulation. This is energetic intelligence. You're not avoiding intimacy. You're elevating it. And that contrast, it creates craving. The riddle she can't stop trying to solve, she'll tell her friends, he's different. They'll ask, do you like him? And she'll pause, then say, I don't know, but I can't stop thinking about him. That's when you've won. You don't have to be her type. You don't need to fit into her plans. You just need to be undefined. Let her fill in the blanks. Let her assign meaning to your stillness. Let her project desire onto your absence. The shadow she craves. You don't chase her. You don't explain yourself. You exist like a shadow on her bedroom wall. Always near, never reachable. And one day, when she finally asks, what are we? You look her in the eyes and say, whatever you've been dreaming about. Because deep down, she never wanted a man she could predict. She wanted a man she could feel without understanding why. Final note, don't speak to convince. Be the silence she misses. If you want to move her, don't speak to impress. Don't perform, don't chase. Be still, be present, be unavailable to nonsense. Because the Stoic doesn't seek love. He becomes the kind of man love can't ignore. If this clicked with you, hit like. Subscribe for more psychological deep dives on stoicism, attraction, and raw masculine presence. Drop a comment below. What's the one thing you'll start doing today? I'll be watching. Until next time, stay silent, stay strong, stay stoic.